I showed up at Grandma's house for Sunday dinner like I always did. The door was locked. Aunt Monica opened it halfway and said, "Oh, Elena, we're having a private family discussion. Maybe come back another time?" I could see everyone inside through the window, my cousins, my uncles, the whole family. She closed the door in my face. "I'm Elena. I'm 26 years old." And I stood there on that porch, humiliated, not knowing that my 70-year-old neighbor across the street had been watching everything. What she was about to tell me would blow my family apart. I work as a medical assistant at a local clinic. It's not glamorous, it's not flashy, but it's steady, and I'm proud of it. I grew up in the same neighborhood as my grandmother. We were close, really close. She passed away 6 months ago, and I thought I'd never stop grieving. But the grief wasn't the worst part, it was my family. After the funeral, they turned cold, distant, dismissive. I thought it was just how people handle loss. Everyone processes differently, right? But then, the exclusion started. I wasn't added to the family group chat. I wasn't invited to holiday planning. When I showed up to gatherings, people barely looked at me. My Aunt Monica, Grandma's younger sister, took over managing the estate, and I trusted her. I didn't ask questions. I didn't push. That was my biggest mistake. Because I wasn't the loudest person in the family, I wasn't the richest. I didn't drive a new car or post vacation photos. But I had something they were terrified of: Grandma's trust. If you've ever been pushed aside by your own family and made to feel invisible, hit subscribe right now and tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I read every single one. 2 days after Aunt Monica shut the door in my face, I drove past Grandma's house. There was a "for sale" sign on the lawn. I pulled over so fast I almost hit the curb. No one had told me they were selling. I sat there staring at it, my heart pounding in my chest. Then I called Aunt Monica. She picked up on the third ring. "Why is Grandma's house for sale?" Her voice was cold, clipped. "It's family business, Elena," we all agreed. "I'm family," I said. No one asked me. "Well, you're not exactly in the loop. We're handling things. Don't worry about it." And she hung up. I sat in my car, shaking. Anger, confusion, both. That's when I heard a tap on my window. It was Mrs. Patel. She'd lived across the street from Grandma for over 40 years. A sweet, elderly Indian woman who always waved when I visited. "Elena, Beta, come inside," she said softly. "There's something you need to know." I hesitated, but something in her eyes told me to follow. She made tea. Her hands moved slowly, deliberately. Then she pulled out a faded envelope. Grandma's handwriting was on the front. "For Elena, in case they try anything." My hands trembled as I opened it. Inside was a handwritten letter from my grandmother and a copy of her will. I read it. Yirik twice. The will clearly stated, "I leave the house and contents at 204 Maple Street to my granddaughter, Elena Marie Torres, solely." Mrs. Patel sat across from me, her face sad but steady. "Your grandmother gave this to me 3 years ago," she said. "She told me, if Monica ever tries to sell that house, you make sure my Elena knows the truth." I couldn't breathe. My family had been lying to me for 6 months. Aunt Monica never filed the will. She'd been acting like she had control this whole time. And the sale? It was scheduled to close in 10 days. I called my cousin Jessica that night, Monica's daughter. We used to be close. "Jess, why didn't anyone tell me about the house?" She sounded awkward, uncomfortable. "Look, Mom said you weren't entitled to anything. She said Grandma changed her mind before she died." "That's a lie, Jess. I have the will right here." Silence. Then her voice turned defensive. "Well, maybe Grandma didn't know what she was doing. She was old, Elena. She hung up. That's when I realized they'd been holding estate meetings without me for months. I wasn't going to sit quietly anymore. I showed up unannounced at Uncle Rob's BBQ the next weekend, Monica's brother. I walked into the backyard. Everyone stopped talking. Aunt Monica's smile was tight and fake. Elena, sweetheart, this is a family thing. You really should have called first. I stood my ground. I want to talk about Grandma's house. Her smile didn't waver, but her eyes went hard. There's nothing to talk about. The estate's being settled fairly. You'll get a little something. Don't worry. My cousin Brian laughed from the grill. Yeah, maybe enough for a nice dinner. A few people chuckled. My voice shook, but I didn't back down. I have a copy of the will. Grandma left me the house. Aunt Monica's face changed. That will is outdated. We have documentation. You're confused. Uncle Rob stepped forward, his tone patronizing. Elena, you're young. You don't understand how estates work. Let the adults handle it. I left before I started crying, but I didn't stop digging. That night, I searched public records online. The buyer of Grandma's house wasn't some random stranger. It was a Shell LLC. Registered under Aunt Monica's husband's name, they weren't selling to anyone. They were selling it to themselves, at below market value, pocketing the money, cutting me out completely. This wasn't a mistake. It was planned. Probably before Grandma even died. I met Mrs. Patel again 2 days later. She had another envelope waiting. Your grandmother knew Monica would do this, she said quietly. That's why she prepared. Inside were photos. Me and Grandma at the house over the years. Birthday parties. Thanksgiving dinners. Just the two of us on the porch. There were handwritten notes from Grandma's diary. One line stood out. Monica has always been jealous. I will not let her take what belongs to Elena. And there was a notarized affidavit from Grandma's lawyer, confirming the will was valid, never revoked. Mrs. Patel leaned forward. I was a witness when your grandmother signed it. So was Father Mike from the church. We both signed affidavits. I had legal standing, but Mrs. Patel's voice turned urgent. You need to act fast, Beta. If that sale goes through, it becomes much harder. Then I saw it. In the will, I wasn't just the heir. I was named executor. Aunt Monica had been acting without any legal authority this whole time. And here's what they didn't know. I'd been quietly saving money for law school. I'd been volunteering at a nonprofit legal clinic through work. I wasn't helpless. I'd just been underestimated. I contacted Aaron, a lawyer from the legal aid clinic. He reviewed the documents that same day. This is clear-cut, he said. Your aunt committed estate fraud. You can stop the sale and possibly press charges. We filed an emergency injunction to halt the sale, 3 days before closing. Aunt Monica got served papers at her home. She called me an hour later. What the hell do you think you're doing? I kept my voice calm. Stopping you from stealing my inheritance. You have no idea what you're starting. I will bury you in legal fees. You can't afford this fight. Try me. I hung up. Monica rallied the family fast. Jessica sent me a screenshot of the group text I wasn't on. Elena is trying to take everything for herself. She's suing the family. We need to stand together. The messages started pouring in. Angry, cruel. Facebook posts calling me greedy, disrespectful. Uncle Rob posted, Imagine suing your own family over money. Shameful. I felt isolated. But Mrs. Patel and Father Mike both agreed to testify if needed. Aaron warned me the night before the hearing. They're going to try to settle before court. They know they'll lose. He was right. Aunt Monica called. Let's talk. Just the two of us. I agreed to meet her at a coffee shop. Neutral ground. But she didn't come alone. Uncle Rob was with her. They sat down. Monica tried the soft approach first. Elena, I know we've had our differences, but family is family. Let's not do this in court. You locked me out. You lied. You tried to steal my home. Uncle Rob's voice was sharp. Steal? We were protecting the estate. You're too young to manage property. I'm the executor. Grandma trusted me, not you. Monica's mask slipped. Your grandmother was confused at the end. That will doesn't reflect her real wishes. I pulled out the affidavits, the diary, the photos. She knew exactly what she was doing, and she knew you'd try this. Monica's face hardened. Fine. What do you want? Money? We can give you $30,000 and you walk away. I didn't blink. I want what's mine, the house. And I want you to admit you lied. Uncle Rob stood up. You're making a huge mistake. You'll regret this. The only mistake I made was trusting you. Monica's voice turned desperate. If you do this, the whole family will hate you. They already do. At least now. I'll have the truth. She stood, threw cash on the table. You're just like your mother. Selfish and ungrateful. I didn't flinch. See you in court tomorrow. The next day, Aaron presented the will, the affidavits, proof of fraud. The judge reviewed everything. Then he ruled. Immediately. In my favor. The sale was voided. House ownership transferred to me. Aunt Monica was ordered to return any estate funds she'd taken. Monica and Uncle Rob sat in silence, faces red. I walked out. No dramatic speech, just quiet victory. 2 weeks later, I moved into Grandma's house. The family group chat went silent. No apologies, but no more attacks either. Jessica sent me a private text. I'm sorry, I should have stood up for you. I didn't respond yet. I needed time. Mrs. Patel brought over homemade samosas to celebrate. Your grandmother would be so proud, Beta. I walked through the house that night. Grandma's photos were still on the walls. In the kitchen, I found a note tucked in a drawer, Grandma's handwriting. Stay strong, my Elena. You're braver than you know. I cried. Not from sadness, from release. I thought losing my family would destroy me, but standing up to them, that's what set me free. For the first time in my life, I wasn't trying to earn their love. I was choosing my own worth. I kept the house, started hosting dinners for real friends, people who saw me, valued me. Grandma's house became a home again. If you've ever had to fight for what's rightfully yours, or stand up to family who tried to take advantage of you, hit that subscribe button and drop a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I read every single story you share, and if you stayed until the end, thank you. Your support means everything. Next time someone tries to make you feel small, remember, you're stronger than they think. See you in the next one.